Welcome to tonight's story, where we'll embark on a journey of enchantment and mystery. As you settle in, take a deep breath and let the day's troubles slip away. Allow the gentle flow of the story to guide you into a state of calm and relaxation. Tonight we'll accompany Princess Seraphina as she uncovers the secrets hidden within her dreams. Close your eyes, let your thoughts drift, and let the soothing tale carry you into a peaceful slumber. The adventure is about to unfold, and sweet dreams are just around the corner. Chapter 1: The Crystal Zither's Melody. In the heart of the serene kingdom of Eldoria, Princess Seraphina lay in her ornate bed, unable to find solace in sleep. The moon cast a silvery glow through the arched window, illuminating the grand tapestries that depicted the kingdom's illustrious history. Despite the tranquility, an uneasy feeling lingered in the air. Night after night, Seraphina was plagued by strange, haunting dreams of forlorn voices calling out to her. Her chamber, adorned with rich silks and intricate carvings, offered little comfort. The bed, with its plush cushions and embroidered linens, felt more like a prison as the hours dragged on. The sounds of the castle at night, the distant clink of armor from the night guards, the soft rustling of leaves in the courtyard, seemed amplified in the oppressive silence of her room. Seraphina tossed and turned, her thoughts a tangled web of confusion and worry. The dreams had started subtly at first, mere whispers at the edge of her consciousness. But over time, they grew more insistent, filling her nights with images of shadowy figures and mournful cries. She could feel their sadness, a deep and ancient sorrow that tugged at her heart. On this particular night, the princess found herself staring at the moon, its pale light casting an ethereal glow across her chamber. She rose from her bed, her feet making no sound on the polished marble floor as she moved towards the window. The cool night air brushed against her skin, and she closed her eyes, hoping the breeze might calm her restless mind. But the voices persisted, a chorus of grief that seemed to come from the very walls of the castle. Seraphina knew she could not ignore them any longer. She had to find the source of these dreams, to understand why the spirits of the past were reaching out to her. The thought filled her with both dread and determination. She wrapped herself in a silken robe, its deep blue fabric embroidered with silver stars, and lit a small lantern. Its warm glow chased away the shadows as she made her way through the dimly lit corridors of the castle. The paintings and tapestries that lined the walls seemed to watch her with knowing eyes, as if they too were aware of the restless spirits that haunted her nights. Seraphina's footsteps echoed softly as she descended the grand staircase, her mind racing with questions. What did the spirits want from her? Why had they chosen her, of all people, to hear their lament? She could feel a connection, a pull that guided her through the winding halls, deeper into the heart of the castle. As she reached the entrance to the royal library, she hesitated. This place had always been a sanctuary for her, a realm of knowledge and discovery. She hoped that within its walls, she might find some clue, some answer to the mystery that had invaded her dreams. Taking a deep breath, she pushed open the heavy wooden doors and stepped inside. The library was vast, its shelves filled with ancient tomes and scrolls that held the history of Eldoria. Seraphina moved through the aisles, her lantern casting flickering shadows on the walls. She scanned the titles, searching for anything that might shed light on the restless spirits that plagued her. Her eyes fell upon a particularly old and weathered book, its spine adorned with faded gold lettering. She pulled the book from the shelf and carefully opened it, the pages crackling softly in the stillness. As she read, she found herself drawn into a tale of love and loss, of forgotten promises and unfulfilled destinies. It was a story that mirrored her own dreams, a story that hinted at the secrets buried within the very foundation of the castle. With a sense of urgency, Seraphina continued to read, her heart pounding with each revelation. She knew that the answers she sought were within her grasp, and she was determined to uncover the truth. As the night wore on, the princess felt a glimmer of hope. Perhaps, by understanding the past, she could finally find peace for herself and for the restless spirits that haunted her. And so, as the first light of dawn began to creep through the windows, Seraphina vowed to unravel the mystery of the restless night, no matter where it might lead her. The following day, Seraphina could not shake the feeling of impending revelation. The ancient tome from the library had ignited a spark of curiosity within her, one that would not be easily extinguished. She spent the day in quiet contemplation, her mind wandering back to the dreams and the sorrowful faces that haunted them. As twilight fell and the first stars began to twinkle in the evening sky, Seraphina retired to her chamber once more. She hoped that the night's rest might bring some respite from her troubled thoughts. Yet, as she entered her room, she was met with an unexpected sight. At the foot of her bed stood a beautifully crafted zither, unlike any instrument she had ever seen. Its body was made of a translucent crystal that shimmered with an inner light, as if it contained the essence of the stars themselves. The strings, delicate and ethereal, seemed to hum with a silent melody, waiting to be brought to life. Beside the zither lay a note, written in an elegant, flowing script. Play and find the peace you seek. Seraphina's heart quickened as she picked up the note. The message was simple, yet it resonated with a profound sense of purpose. She knew that this zither was no ordinary instrument. It was imbued with ancient magic, a gift from the past that held the key to unlocking the mysteries that plagued her. With a mix of trepidation and anticipation, Seraphina settled herself beside the zither. She reached out and gently plucked one of the strings. The sound that emanated was otherworldly, a pure, crystalline note that filled the room with a soothing resonance. It was as if the music itself had a life of its own, weaving through the air and touching her very soul. As she played, Seraphina felt a strange sensation, a connection to something far greater than herself. The music seemed to flow through her, guiding her fingers across the strings in a melody that was both familiar and new. The haunting voices that had disturbed her dreams began to fade, replaced by a sense of calm and clarity. The zither's music led her to a corner of the room, where the moonlight pooled on the floor in a soft silvery glow. There, hidden beneath a loose floorboard, she discovered a small, ornate key. The key was old and intricately designed, its metal cool and heavy in her hand. She knew instinctively that it was meant to unlock something important, something that had been concealed for centuries. Guided by an invisible force, Seraphina followed the zither's melody through the castle's labyrinthine corridors. The castle was eerily silent, the only sound the soft echo of her footsteps and the faint magical notes of the zither. She descended deeper into the heart of the castle, where the air grew cooler and the shadows longer. At last, she arrived at a heavy wooden door that seemed out of place among the more recent additions to the castle. The key fit perfectly into the lock, and with a soft click, the door swung open to reveal a hidden chamber. Seraphina stepped inside, her lantern casting a warm glow over the room's contents. The chamber was filled with relics of the past, faded murals depicting the kingdom's history, ancient scrolls and artifacts that spoke of a time long forgotten. In the center of the room stood a pedestal, upon which rested a beautifully crafted zither, almost identical to the one she had found. The realization struck her with a force that left her breathless. This was no coincidence. The zither was a conduit, a bridge between the past and the present. As she explored the chamber, Seraphina felt the presence of the spirits grow stronger. The music of the zither had awakened them, and they hovered around her, their forms faint and translucent. She could see their faces now, etched with sorrow and longing, yet filled with a glimmer of hope. They had been waiting for this moment, for someone to hear their stories and set them free. Seraphina knew that her journey was only just beginning. The zither had opened a door to the past, but it was up to her to walk through it and uncover the truths that lay hidden in the shadows. With a heart full of determination and a mind buzzing with questions, she vowed to unravel the secrets of the crystal zither and bring peace to the restless spirits of Eldoria. Seraphina's discovery of the hidden chamber beneath the castle marked the beginning of her quest to uncover the secrets of Eldoria's past. The chamber, a sanctuary of history, was a testament to the kingdom's long-forgotten tales and concealed truths. With the zither in her hands, its music echoing softly around her, she stepped further into the room, her lantern casting long, dancing shadows on the ancient walls. The murals that adorned the chamber were faded with age, but their stories were still discernible. They depicted scenes of grandeur and sorrow, of heroes and betrayals, and of a kingdom that had once been vibrant with magic and life. Seraphina's eyes were drawn to a particular mural in the center of the room, a scene that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. The mural showed a beautiful princess playing a crystal zither, much like the one Seraphina held. Around her, spirits of the past gathered, their faces a mix of sadness and hope. The princess's music was a bridge between worlds, her melodies a soothing balm for the restless souls. Seraphina felt a shiver run down her spine as she realized the significance of what she was seeing. This was a depiction of her ancestor, a princess who had once wielded the same instrument to bring peace to the kingdom. Lost in the imagery, Seraphina almost missed the small, intricately carved door at the far end of the chamber. It was partially hidden behind a tapestry, its wood darkened with age and its hinges rusty. Her heart pounded with anticipation as she approached it, the key she had found earlier clutched tightly in her hand. With a deep breath, she inserted the key into the lock and turned it. The door creaked open, revealing a narrow staircase that descended into darkness. The air was cool and smelled of earth and old stone, a stark contrast to the warm, dusty atmosphere of the chamber above. Holding her lantern high, Seraphina began her descent, each step echoing in the silence. The staircase led her to another chamber, this one smaller and more intimate. The walls were lined with shelves, each filled with scrolls and books bound in worn leather. In the center of the room was a large, ornate table, its surface covered in maps, parchments, and various artifacts. It was a treasure trove of knowledge, a repository of Eldoria's hidden history. Seraphina's eyes were drawn to a particularly old scroll, its edges frayed and its ink faded. She carefully unrolled it and began to read. The scroll told the story of a great love and a tragic betrayal, a tale that mirrored the mural above. It spoke of a princess who had fallen in love with a humble bard, a love that was forbidden by the laws of the land. The bard, wrongfully accused of treason, had been executed, his death a wound that had never healed. The princess, heartbroken and consumed by grief, had played the crystal zither in mourning, her sorrow binding the spirits of the kingdom to the land. Her music, filled with anguish and loss, had created a bridge between the worlds, allowing the spirits to linger but trapping them in a state of unrest. The scroll hinted that the only way to bring peace to these spirits was to right the wrongs of the past, to uncover the truth and set the record straight. As she read, Seraphina felt a deep connection to the princess of old. Their lives, separated by centuries, were intertwined by fate and the magic of the crystal Zither. She knew that her journey was not just about discovering the past, but about healing the wounds that had festered for so long. The spirits were counting on her, their hopes resting on her shoulders. With renewed determination, Seraphina gathered the scrolls and parchments, carefully placing them in a satchel. She would study them, learn their secrets, and use the knowledge to bring peace to the restless spirits. As she made her way back up the staircase, she could feel the weight of her responsibility, but also the strength that came from knowing she was not alone. The spirits of Eldoria were with her, their voices now a gentle whisper of encouragement and hope. Emerging from the hidden chamber, Seraphina felt a sense of clarity and purpose. She was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, to uncover the truth and restore peace to her kingdom. The Zither's melody, soft and soothing, accompanied her as she began the next chapter of her journey. A journey that would lead her deeper into the heart of Eldoria's history and closer to the answers she sought. As Seraphina emerged from the hidden chamber, the first light of dawn bathed the castle in a soft golden glow. The early morning mist clung to the towers and battlements, giving the ancient stone a mystical, ethereal quality. She made her way back to her chamber, her mind swirling with the revelations of the night. The scrolls and parchments she had discovered were now her guide, their secrets waiting to be unraveled. After a brief rest, Seraphina sat at her desk, the crystal Zither resting beside her. The satchel of ancient documents lay open, its contents spread out before her. She carefully unrolled another scroll, its delicate parchment crackling under her fingers. This scroll contained a map of the kingdom, marked with symbols and annotations that hinted at hidden locations and forgotten lore. The Zither's soft, haunting melody filled the room as she played, the music helping her focus and think clearly. Each note seemed to resonate with the spirits of the past, their presence a comforting, guiding force. She traced her finger along the map, noting the places that seemed most significant. The enchanted forest, the old tower, and a secluded glen known as the Grove of Whispers. Seraphina knew that these locations held the keys to unlocking the kingdom's hidden history. The enchanted forest, with its ancient trees and magical creatures, was the first destination on her quest. The forest had always been a place of mystery and wonder, its depths unexplored and its secrets well guarded. She gathered her belongings, including the zither and the satchel of scrolls, and prepared for the journey ahead. The sun was high in the sky by the time she reached the outskirts of the enchanted forest. The towering trees, their leaves shimmering in the dappled sunlight, formed a natural canopy that cast the forest floor in a perpetual twilight. The air was thick with the scent of moss and wildflowers. and the sounds of birds and rustling leaves created a symphony of nature's music. As she ventured deeper into the forest, the path became narrower and more winding. The trees seemed to whisper to her, their voices a soft murmur that blended with the zither's melody. She felt a strange sense of familiarity, as if she had walked this path before in a distant dream. The spirits of the past were with her, their presence a guiding light in the forest's shadowy embrace. The path led her to a clearing where the sunlight broke through the canopy in brilliant beams, illuminating a circle of ancient stones. The stones were covered in moss and lichen, their surfaces etched with runes that glowed faintly in the sunlight. Seraphina could feel the magic in the air, a palpable energy that pulsed through the clearing. She placed the zither on one of the stones and began to play. The music flowed through her fingers, each note a call to the spirits that lingered in the forest. As the melody filled the air, the runes on the stones began to glow brighter, and ghostly figures appeared around her. These were the spirits of the forest, guardians of its ancient secrets. One spirit stepped forward, a figure draped in flowing robes that seemed to shimmer with an inner light. The spirit's face was kind and wise, eyes filled with a deep sorrow and an even deeper hope. "Princess Seraphina," the spirit intoned, "you have awakened us with your music. We are the guardians of Eldoria's past, and we have waited for one who could hear our voices and see our plight." Seraphina bowed her head in respect. "I seek to understand the past and bring peace to the restless spirits of our kingdom. Please tell me what I must do." The spirit nodded, a soft smile playing on their lips. "To restore peace, you must uncover the truth of the past. Seek out the enchanted forest's heart, where the ancient tree stands. There you will find the answers you seek and the key to healing the wounds of history." With these words, the spirit and the other figures began to fade, their forms dissolving into the light. Seraphina felt a renewed sense of purpose and a clearer understanding of her quest. The path ahead was fraught with challenges, but she knew she was not alone. The spirits of Eldoria were with her, their strength and wisdom a guiding force. Seraphina picked up the zither and continued deeper into the enchanted forest, her heart filled with determination. She was ready to uncover the truths of the past, to face the echoes of history, and to bring peace to the restless spirits that called to her in the night. The enchanted forest seemed to come alive as Seraphina ventured deeper into its heart. The trees, ancient and wise, stood as silent sentinels, their leaves rustling softly in the gentle breeze. Shafts of sunlight pierced through the dense canopy, illuminating the forest floor in patches of golden light. The air was filled with the sweet fragrance of blooming flowers and the soft hum of magical energy that seemed to vibrate with every step she took. Guided by the spirit's words, Seraphina followed a narrow, winding path that led her deeper into the forest. The path was lined with vibrant moss and delicate ferns, their emerald green a stark contrast against the rich brown earth. As she walked, she played the zither, its ethereal melody weaving through the trees and calling forth the ancient magic that lay hidden within the forest. The forest creatures, curious and unafraid, watched her from the shadows. Deer with eyes that sparkled like stars, rabbits with fur that shimmered in the sunlight, and birds with feathers of every imaginable colour, all seemed to sense her purpose and offered their silent support. The zither's music seemed to resonate with the very soul of the forest, creating a harmony that brought a sense of peace and unity to all who heard it. After what felt like hours of walking, Seraphina arrived at a clearing unlike any she had seen before. In the center of the clearing stood a towering tree, its trunk wide and gnarled, its branches reaching towards the sky in a majestic display of nature's grandeur. This was the heart of the enchanted forest, the ancient tree that the spirit had spoken of. The tree's bark was covered in intricate carvings, symbols and runes that glowed with a faint, otherworldly light. The air around the tree was thick with magic, a palpable force that made the hair on Seraphina's arms stand on end. She approached the tree with reverence, her heart pounding with anticipation. At the base of the tree, nestled among its roots, was a small stone altar. Upon the altar lay a book, its cover worn and weathered with age. The book seemed to pulse with a life of its own, its pages filled with the secrets of Eldoria's past. Seraphina knew that this book held the answers she sought, the key to understanding the kingdom's hidden history. With trembling hands, she picked up the book and opened it. The pages were filled with elegantly written text and detailed illustrations, a chronicle of Eldoria's most significant events and forgotten lore. As she read, the zither's melody filled the air, its soothing notes blending with the words on the page to create a tapestry of sound and story. The book told of a time when the kingdom was at peace, its people united by love and trust. It spoke of the princess and the bard, their forbidden love and the tragedy that tore them apart. It revealed the true nature of the betrayal, a conspiracy orchestrated by those who sought power at any cost. The bard's execution was a grievous injustice, a wound that festered and gave rise to the restless spirits that now haunted the kingdom. Tears filled Seraphina's eyes as she read, her heart breaking for the princess and the bard, whose love had been so cruelly shattered. She understood now that the zither was more than just an instrument. It was a symbol of hope, a beacon that could guide the spirits to peace. To bring closure to their story, she needed to honor their love and set the record straight. As she finished reading, the tree's runes glowed brighter, casting a warm light that enveloped her. She felt a presence beside her and turned to see the spirit of the ancient princess, her eyes filled with gratitude and sorrow. The spirit spoke, her voice a soft whisper in the wind. "You have done well, Seraphina, but your journey is not yet complete. You must bring this knowledge to the people of Eldoria, and with the Zither's music heal the wounds of the past." Seraphina nodded, her resolve stronger than ever. She placed the book carefully back on the altar and turned to leave the clearing. The forest seemed to part before her, the path back to the castle clear and welcoming. As she walked, the Zither's melody echoed through the trees, a promise of peace and a new beginning for the kingdom of Eldoria. The sun was beginning to set as Seraphina emerged from the forest. The castle's towers silhouetted against the vibrant hues of the evening sky. She knew that the final steps of her journey would be the most challenging, but with the knowledge she had gained and the support of the spirits, she was ready to face whatever lay ahead. The echoes of the past had guided her this far, and now it was time to bring their story to light and restore harmony to the kingdom. Seraphina returned to the castle with a sense of purpose, the Zither and ancient scrolls close at hand. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over Eldoria, she felt the weight of the kingdom's history pressing upon her shoulders. The spirits' whispers guided her steps, their voices a constant reminder of the task that lay ahead. That evening, Seraphina gathered the castle's advisors and scholars in the grand hall. The room, with its towering columns and glittering chandeliers, was filled with an air of anticipation. She began by recounting her journey through the enchanted forest, sharing the revelations of the ancient scrolls and the tragic love story of the princess and the bard. The advisors listened intently, their expressions a mix of disbelief and awe. When she spoke of the betrayal and the unjust execution, a hush fell over the room. Seraphina held up the book she had found, its pages brimming with the truths of the past. "We must bring these injustices to light," she said, her voice steady and clear. "Only by acknowledging and rectifying the wrongs of our history can we bring peace to the restless spirits." Among the gathered, an elderly scholar named Cedric stepped forward. His eyes, though clouded with age, shone with understanding. "Princess, the task you undertake is monumental. The spirits have waited centuries for this moment. We will support you in every way we can." The room echoed with murmurs of agreement, the resolve of those present solidifying around her. That night, Seraphina played the zither in the grand hall, the instrument's melody weaving through the corridors and out into the night. The music was a call to the spirits, a promise of redemption and peace. As the notes floated on the breeze, she felt a presence around her, a gathering of the spirits, drawn by the familiar and comforting sound. The spirits appeared gradually, their forms shimmering like moonlight on water. Among them, Seraphina recognized the ancient princess and her bard, their expressions softened by hope. The princess approached, her ethereal gown flowing like mist, and spoke in a voice that was both gentle and commanding. "Seraphina, you have begun to unravel the truth. Now, you must help us find the rest we have been denied for so long." Seraphina nodded, her heart filled with determination. "I will do everything in my power to bring your story to light and to honor your love," she vowed. The spirits seemed to glow brighter at her words, their figures becoming more defined, more real. The next day, Seraphina and her advisors worked tirelessly to uncover more details about the betrayal that had led to the bard's execution. They pored over ancient texts, consulted with the oldest inhabitants of Eldoria, and pieced together a narrative that had been buried by time and deceit. The castle buzzed with activity as they prepared to share their findings with the kingdom. When the day of the revelation arrived, the courtyard of the castle was filled with the people of Eldoria. Seraphina stood before them, the zither in her hands, and recounted the true history of the kingdom. The love between the princess and the bard, the betrayal that had torn them apart, and the sorrow that had bound the spirits to the land. Her words were powerful, resonating with the truth and the weight of centuries. As she played the zither, the music carried her story to the hearts of all who listened. The spirits appeared once more, visible to all, their forms radiant and peaceful. The people of Eldoria watched in awe as the spirits, now free from their earthly ties, began to ascend into the sky, their expressions filled with gratitude. The ancient princess and the bard lingered a moment longer. "Thank you, Seraphina," the princess said, her voice a soft whisper in the wind. "You have given us the peace we sought. May your reign be blessed with wisdom and love." With that, they too faded into the light, leaving behind a sense of tranquility and closure. As the sun set, casting a golden glow over the castle and the surrounding land, Seraphina felt a profound sense of accomplishment. The restless spirits were finally at peace, their stories told and their injustices righted. The kingdom of Eldoria could now look to the future with hope, its past reconciled and its present filled with harmony. Seraphina knew that her journey was not just about uncovering history, but about healing and unity. With the zither's music still echoing in her heart, she looked forward to leading her kingdom into a new era of peace and understanding, guided by the wisdom of the past and the promise of the future. Chapter 2: Unveiling the Kingdom's History. With the spirits at peace and their stories revealed, Seraphina turned her attention to the deeper mysteries hidden within Eldoria's past. The ancient scrolls she had discovered in the hidden chamber still held many secrets, and she knew that understanding them was crucial to fully restoring harmony to the kingdom. The castle's library became her sanctuary, a place where the ancient and modern worlds intertwined. Seraphina spent countless hours poring over the scrolls, their fragile pages revealing tales of magic, forgotten lore, and the wisdom of her ancestors. The Zither's soft melodies accompanied her studies, the music providing a soothing backdrop to her efforts. One afternoon, as the sun cast a warm glow through the library's stained glass windows, Seraphina uncovered a scroll that seemed particularly significant. Its parchment was delicate, the ink faded but still legible. The scroll was a detailed account of the kingdom's founding, describing the early days of Eldoria and the powerful magic that had once been its lifeblood. The scroll spoke of an ancient covenant between the rulers of Eldoria and the elemental spirits of the land. This pact had ensured the kingdom's prosperity and protection, with the crystal Zither serving as a symbol of this sacred bond. However, over the centuries, the covenant had been neglected and nearly forgotten, its importance lost to time. As she read, Seraphina realized that the kingdom's current unrest was not solely due to the tragic love story of the princess and the bard. The neglect of this ancient covenant had weakened the kingdom's connection to the elemental spirits, causing imbalance and discord. To restore true peace and harmony, the covenant needed to be renewed. Determined to fulfill this task, Seraphina sought out the kingdom's most knowledgeable sages and historians. She convened a council in the Great Hall, inviting those who held the wisdom of Eldoria's past. The air was thick with anticipation as she shared her findings, the ancient scrolls laid out before them. The sages listened intently, their expressions grave as they absorbed the significance of Seraphina's discovery. One of the oldest among them, a venerable sage named Alaric, spoke first. "Princess Seraphina, your dedication to our history is commendable. The covenant you speak of is indeed vital to our kingdom's well-being. Renewing it will require great courage and wisdom." The council discussed the steps needed to renew the covenant. They agreed that a pilgrimage to the elemental shrines scattered across Eldoria was necessary. Each shrine represented one of the elemental spirits: earth, water, fire, and air. By visiting these shrines and performing the ancient rites, Seraphina could restore the balance and renew the kingdom's bond with the spirits. The journey would be arduous and filled with challenges, but Seraphina was resolute. She knew that this was her destiny, a path she was meant to walk to ensure the future of Eldoria. With the council's guidance, she prepared for the pilgrimage, gathering the necessary supplies and studying the rites that needed to be performed. Before setting out, Seraphina spent a final night in the hidden chamber beneath the castle, the place where her journey had truly begun. She played the zither, its music echoing softly against the stone walls. The melody seemed to carry the weight of the ages, a reminder of the past and a beacon for the future. The next morning, Seraphina stood at the castle gates, ready to embark on her quest. The sun rose behind her, casting a golden light over the land. The people of Eldoria gathered to see her off, their faces filled with hope and admiration. With the crystal Zither slung over her shoulder and the scrolls of ancient wisdom in her pack, she set out on the path to the first shrine. The journey ahead was daunting, but Seraphina felt a deep sense of purpose. She was not just a princess, but a guardian of Eldoria's history and a bearer of its future. As she walked, the wind whispered through the trees, carrying with it the voices of the spirits and the promise of renewal. The echoes of the past would guide her, and the wisdom of her ancestors would light her way. Seraphina's journey to the elemental shrines was a venture into the forgotten corners of Eldoria, places steeped in legend and untouched by time. The first destination on her pilgrimage was the Shrine of Earth, nestled deep within the Whispering Woods. The woods were an ancient forest, older than the kingdom itself, and said to be the dwelling place of the Earth Spirit. As she made her way through the dense forest, Seraphina was struck by the stillness of the place. The towering trees, their trunks wide and gnarled, seemed to hold the memories of countless ages. The air was thick with the scent of pine and damp earth, and the only sounds were the gentle rustling of leaves and the distant calls of woodland creatures. Guided by the ancient map and the whispers of the wind, Seraphina followed a narrow, winding path that led her deeper into the forest. She felt the presence of the Earth Spirit all around her, a comforting, grounding force that gave her strength and determination. The crystal Zither slung over her shoulder seemed to hum with anticipation, its magic resonating with the energy of the forest. After several hours of walking, Seraphina arrived at a clearing where the sunlight broke through the canopy in brilliant beams, illuminating a circle of standing stones. The stones were covered in ancient runes, their surfaces weathered but still legible. At the center of the circle stood a great stone altar, its surface adorned with offerings of flowers, fruits, and carved wooden figures. This was the Shrine of Earth, a sacred place where the spirit of the land was honored and revered. Seraphina approached the altar with reverence, her heart filled with a sense of purpose. She placed the zither on the altar and began to play, the music flowing through her fingers like a river of sound. The notes of the zither echoed through the clearing, their melody soft and soothing. As she played, the runes on the standing stones began to glow with a faint green light. The ground beneath her feet seemed to pulse with life, the earth spirit awakening in response to her music. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves, and the spirit appeared before her. A figure of immense presence, their form made of intertwining roots and vines, with eyes that shone like emeralds. The earth spirit's voice was deep and resonant, like the rumble of distant thunder. Princess Seraphina, you have come to renew the ancient covenant. What is it you seek? Seraphina bowed her head in respect. Great Earth Spirit, I seek to restore balance and harmony to Eldoria. The covenant has been neglected, and our kingdom suffers as a result. I ask for your guidance and blessing to renew this sacred bond. The Earth Spirit regarded her with wise, knowing eyes. The path you walk is fraught with challenges, but your heart is pure and your purpose true. To renew the covenant, you must perform the rite of earth. Place your hands upon the altar and speak the words of the ancient incantation. Seraphina did as instructed, placing her hands on the cool stone of the altar. She closed her eyes and recited the incantation from memory, the words flowing through her like a river of ancient power. Spirit of the earth, I call upon you. Grant us your strength, your wisdom, and your blessing. Let the bond between us be renewed, and let the land of Eldoria be restored to its former glory. As she spoke, the ground beneath her feet seemed to vibrate with energy. The runes on the stones glowed brighter, and the air was filled with the scent of blooming flowers and fresh earth. The Earth Spirit's presence enveloped her, a comforting, grounding force that filled her with a sense of peace and strength. When she finished the incantation, the Earth Spirit placed a hand on her shoulder. You have done well, Seraphina. The bond is renewed, and the balance is restored. Carry this blessing with you on your journey, and may the spirits of Eldoria guide and protect you. With a final lingering touch, the Earth Spirit faded into the air. Their presence still felt, but no longer visible. Seraphina picked up the zither and bowed once more to the altar, gratitude and determination filling her heart. The first step of her journey was complete, but many more lay ahead. As she left the clearing and made her way back through the whispering woods, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. The whispers of the wind carried the promise of hope and renewal, guiding her toward the next shrine and the next step in her quest to restore harmony to Eldoria. The forgotten tale of the covenant was now a part of her story, a chapter in the ongoing saga of her kingdom. With the blessing of the Earth Spirit secured, Seraphina continued her pilgrimage. Her next destination, the Shrine of Water. This sacred place lay within the heart of the moonlit marsh, a vast expanse of wetlands, known for its serene beauty and mystical aura. The marsh was said to be the dwelling place of the water spirit, a guardian of the kingdom's rivers, lakes, and seas. Seraphina traveled by day, guided by the ancient map and the whispers of the wind. Her journey illuminated by the zither's enchanting melodies. The path to the marsh was long and winding, leading her through rolling hills and lush meadows, each step bringing her closer to the heart of Eldoria's magic. As she walked, the spirits of the past seemed to hover at the edge of her vision, their presence a constant reminder of her quest. By the time she reached the moonlit marsh, the sun was beginning to set, casting a warm, golden light over the water. The marsh was a place of quiet beauty, its still waters reflecting the colors of the sky like a mirror. Tall reeds swayed gently in the breeze, and the air was filled with the sweet, earthy scent of wetland flowers. Seraphina made her way along a narrow path that wound through the marsh, her footsteps barely making a sound on the soft, damp ground. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the sky transformed into a canvas of deep blues and purples, the first stars beginning to twinkle in the twilight. The zither's music, soft and soothing, seemed to blend with the sounds of the marsh, the croaking of frogs, the rustle of reeds, and the gentle lapping of water. At last, she arrived at a small island in the center of the marsh, where the shrine of water stood. The shrine was a delicate structure made of stone and adorned with intricate carvings of waves and aquatic creatures. A clear spring bubbled up from the center of the island, its water sparkling in the moonlight. The air was cool and refreshing, a gentle mist rising from the surface of the water. Seraphina approached the shrine with reverence, her heart filled with anticipation. She placed the zither on a stone pedestal beside the spring and began to play. The music echoed across the water, its notes mingling with the sounds of the marsh and creating a symphony of harmony and peace. The water in the spring began to glow with a soft blue light, and the surface of the marsh shimmered like liquid silver. The water spirit appeared, their form graceful and fluid, like a figure made of pure crystalline water. Their eyes, as deep and blue as the ocean, held a wisdom that spanned ages. The spirit's voice was a soothing murmur, like the sound of waves lapping against the shore. "Princess Seraphina, you have come to renew the ancient covenant. What do you seek?" Seraphina bowed her head, her voice steady and clear. "Great water spirit, I seek to restore balance and harmony to Eldoria. The covenant has been neglected, and our kingdom suffers as a result. I ask for your guidance and blessing to renew this sacred bond." The water spirit regarded her with a serene expression. "The path you walk is fraught with challenges, but your heart is pure and your purpose true. To renew the covenant, you must perform the rite of water. Step into the spring and let its waters cleanse you. Speak the words of the ancient incantation, and the bond will be restored." Seraphina nodded and stepped into the spring, the cool water enveloping her like a gentle embrace. She closed her eyes and recited the incantation, the words flowing from her lips like a river of magic. "Spirit of water, I call upon you. Grant us your grace, your wisdom, and your blessing. Let the bond between us be renewed, and let the waters of Eldoria be pure and plentiful." As she spoke, the water around her began to glow brighter, the light spreading outwards until the entire marsh was bathed in a soft blue radiance. The water spirit's presence enveloped her, a calming, soothing force that filled her with a sense of peace and renewal. She felt the bond being restored, the ancient covenant renewed. When the incantation was complete, The water spirit touched her forehead, a gesture of blessing and gratitude. You have done well, Seraphina. The bond is renewed and the balance is restored. Carry this blessing with you on your journey, and may the spirits of Eldoria guide and protect you. With the water spirit's blessing, Seraphina stepped out of the spring, her heart filled with gratitude and determination. The moonlight shimmered on the water, creating a pathway of light that guided her back to the edge of the marsh. As she walked, the Zither's music echoed through the night, a promise of hope and renewal. The journey to the next shrine would be long, but Seraphina was ready. She had the blessings of the earth and water spirits and the wisdom of her ancestors to guide her. The revelations in the moonlight had given her strength and purpose, and she knew that with each step, she was bringing Eldoria closer to the harmony and peace it deserved. With the blessings of the earth and water spirits secured, Seraphina's journey led her to the distant mountains where the shrine of fire was hidden. The trek was arduous, taking her through dense forests, across rushing rivers, and up steep, rocky inclines. Yet the Zither's melody, resonating with the elements, buoyed her spirits and lent strength to her steps. The mountains, rugged and imposing, loomed ahead, their peaks often shrouded in mist. The path to the shrine of fire was treacherous, winding through narrow passes and along sheer cliffs. Seraphina pressed on, her resolve unwavering. She could feel the presence of the fire spirit, a fierce and untamed force that called to her from the heart of the mountains. As she ascended, the air grew colder and thinner. The landscape became barren, with only the hardiest of plants clinging to life. The path finally led her to a hidden valley, a place of stark beauty where the shrine of fire stood. The shrine was a massive stone structure, its walls carved with images of flames and mythical creatures. At its center was a great brazier, unlit but exuding an aura of latent power. Seraphina approached the shrine, the Zither's melody growing softer, more introspective. She placed the instrument on a stone pedestal and began to play, the music echoing off the surrounding cliffs. The notes were a call to the fire spirit, a plea for guidance and strength. As she played, the brazier began to glow, a flicker of flame igniting at its center and gradually growing into a roaring fire. The fire spirit emerged from the flames, a figure of pure, radiant energy. Their eyes blazed like twin suns, and their presence filled the valley with warmth and light. The spirit's voice was powerful, a crackling inferno that demanded attention. Princess Seraphina, you have come to renew the ancient covenant. What do you seek? Seraphina bowed deeply, her voice steady and respectful. Great fire spirit, I seek to restore balance and harmony to Eldoria. The covenant has been neglected, and our kingdom suffers as a result. I ask for your guidance and blessing to renew this sacred bond. The fire spirit's gaze softened, their fiery aura calming slightly. The path you walk is fraught with challenges, but your heart is pure and your purpose true. To renew the covenant, you must perform the rite of fire. Step into the brazier and let its flames purify you. Speak the words of the ancient incantation, and the bond will be restored. With a deep breath, Seraphina approached the brazier. The flames, though intense, did not burn her as she stepped into the heart of the fire. She felt a surge of energy, a powerful force that filled her with strength and determination. She closed her eyes and recited the incantation, her voice steady and clear. Spirit of fire, I call upon you. Grant us your power, your courage, and your blessing. Let the bond between us be renewed, and let the fires of Eldoria burn bright and true. As she spoke, the flames around her grew brighter, the heat intensifying but not harming her. The fire spirit's presence enveloped her, a fierce and invigorating force that filled her with a sense of purpose and clarity. She felt the bond being restored, the ancient covenant renewed. When the incantation was complete, the fire spirit reached out and touched her forehead, a gesture of blessing and empowerment. You have done well, Seraphina. The bond is renewed and the balance is restored. Carry this blessing with you on your journey, and may the spirits of Eldoria guide and protect you. With the fire spirit's blessing, Seraphina stepped out of the brazier, her heart filled with gratitude and determination. The flames died down, leaving the brazier glowing softly. The path ahead was clear, leading her back down the mountains and toward the final shrine. As she descended, the Zither's music echoed through the valley, a promise of hope and renewal. The next part of her journey took her to the Shrine of Air, the last and most elusive of the elemental spirits. The path led her across wide plains and through ancient forests, the wind guiding her steps. The Shrine of Air was said to be located in a place where the sky touched the earth, a sacred grove known as the Sky's Embrace. The journey was long and arduous, but Seraphina felt a sense of peace and purpose. The blessings of the earth, water, and fire spirits gave her strength, and the Zither's music filled her heart with hope. The spirits of Eldoria were with her, their presence a constant reminder of her mission. As she approached the Sky's Embrace, she felt a gentle breeze, a whisper of the air spirit welcoming her. The final step of her quest was within reach, and with it, the promise of peace and harmony for Eldoria. The spirit's request was clear, and she was ready to fulfill it. The echoes of the past would guide her, and the wisdom of her ancestors would light her way. Seraphina's journey to the Sky's Embrace was a testament to her resilience and determination. The final leg of her pilgrimage led her across vast plains and through dense, ancient forests, each step bringing her closer to the Shrine of Air. The path was long and winding, but the Zither's music provided solace and strength, its melodies resonating with the very essence of the land. The sky's embrace was a place of unparalleled beauty, a sacred grove where the heavens seemed to kiss the earth. The grove was surrounded by towering oaks and fragrant blossoms, their petals dancing on the wind. As Seraphina approached, she felt a gentle breeze, a whisper of welcome from the air spirit. The shrine itself was an open, airy structure made of delicate, twisting vines and flowers. At its center was a large circular stone platform adorned with intricate carvings of clouds and birds in flight. The air was filled with the scent of wildflowers and the soft rustle of leaves, a serene symphony that complemented the Zither's music. Seraphina stepped onto the platform and placed the Zither in the center. She began to play, the music light and ethereal, like the wind itself. The notes rose and fell, creating a melody that seemed to blend with the very air around her. As she played, the carvings on the platform began to glow with a soft white light. The air spirit materialized before her, a figure of pure, shimmering light with wings that seemed to be made of gossamer. Their eyes were a deep, tranquil blue, reflecting the sky's infinite expanse. The spirit's voice was a gentle breeze, soothing and calming. "Princess Seraphina, you have come to renew the ancient covenant. What do you seek?" Seraphina bowed her head, her voice filled with reverence. "Great Air Spirit, I seek to restore balance and harmony to Eldoria. The covenant has been neglected, and our kingdom suffers as a result. I ask for your guidance and blessing to renew this sacred bond." The air spirit's gaze was kind and knowing. "The path you walk is fraught with challenges, but your heart is pure and your purpose true. To renew the covenant, you must perform the rite of air. Stand upon the platform and let the wind carry your words. Speak the ancient incantation, and the bond will be restored." With a deep breath, Seraphina stepped to the center of the platform. The wind swirled around her, lifting her hair and the hem of her gown. She closed her eyes and recited the incantation, her voice clear and unwavering. "Spirit of air, I call upon you. Grant us your wisdom, your clarity, and your blessing. Let the bond between us be renewed, and let the winds of Eldoria be ever in our favor." As she spoke, the wind intensified, swirling around her in a dance of light and air. The air spirit's presence enveloped her, a comforting embrace that filled her with a sense of freedom and possibility. She felt the bond being restored, the ancient covenant renewed. When the incantation was complete, the air spirit touched her forehead with a gentle breeze, a gesture of blessing and protection. "You have done well, Seraphina. The bond is renewed, and the balance is restored. Carry this blessing with you on your journey, and may the spirits of Eldoria guide and protect you." With the air spirit's blessing, Seraphina stepped off the platform, her heart filled with gratitude and determination. The wind whispered through the grove, a song of hope and renewal. The Zither's music echoed through the air, a promise of peace and harmony. Her pilgrimage complete, Seraphina returned to the castle, where the people of Eldoria awaited her with bated breath. The news of her journey had spread, and the kingdom was filled with a sense of anticipation and hope. As she entered the great hall, the gathered crowd fell silent, their eyes filled with admiration and respect. Seraphina took her place at the center of the hall, the zither cradled in her arms. She spoke of her journey, of the ancient covenant, and the blessings of the elemental spirits. Her words resonated with truth and power, a call to action for the people of Eldoria to honor their past and embrace their future. As she finished speaking, she began to play the zither, its music filling the hall with a sense of peace and unity. The people of Eldoria listened in awe, their hearts lifted by the promise of a brighter tomorrow. The spirits of the past were at peace, their voices a gentle whisper in the wind. Seraphina knew that the journey ahead would not be easy, but with the blessings of the spirits and the support of her people, she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The past and present were harmonized, and the future of Eldoria was filled with hope and possibility. The echoes of the past would guide her, and the wisdom of her ancestors would light her way. As the echoes of the zither's last notes faded into the night, the people of Eldoria stood in silent awe, their hearts filled with a newfound sense of hope and unity. Seraphina's journey had not only renewed the ancient covenant, but had also awakened a deep-seated belief in the kingdom's ability to overcome adversity and embrace its destiny. The spirits of the past were finally at peace, and their blessings echoed in every corner of the realm. The following days were a flurry of activity. With the ancient covenant restored, Eldoria began to flourish once more. The elemental spirits, now in harmony with the land, bestowed their blessings upon the kingdom. The fields yielded bountiful harvests, the rivers ran clear and pure, and the very air seemed to shimmer with renewed vitality. Seraphina continued to play the zither, its melodies now a symbol of the kingdom's unity and strength. She traveled to every village and town, sharing the story of her journey and the wisdom of the spirits. Wherever she went, the people welcomed her with open arms, their faces alight with gratitude and hope. The zither's music became a bridge, connecting hearts and minds across Eldoria, weaving a tapestry of peace and understanding. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky in hues of gold and crimson, Seraphina stood on the balcony of the castle, overlooking the kingdom she had come to love even more deeply. The air was filled with the gentle hum of life, the sounds of laughter and song drifting up from the streets below. The castle, once a place of restlessness and sorrow, now stood as a beacon of hope and renewal. A familiar figure joined her on the balcony. Cedric, the elderly scholar who had been her steadfast advisor and friend. His eyes, though aged, sparkled with pride and joy. "Princess Seraphina," he said, his voice warm and gentle. "You have brought light and life back to Eldoria. The spirits are at peace, and the people are united as never before." Seraphina smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude. "It was not just my journey, Cedric. It was the journey of all of us, the people, the spirits, and the land. Together, we have created a new dawn for Eldoria." Cedric nodded, his expression thoughtful. "There is one more task that remains, Princess. The final piece of the puzzle, the spirit's request. We must honor the love story of the princess and the bard and set the record straight. Their story deserves to be told, their love celebrated." Seraphina's eyes lit up with understanding. The love story that had been the catalyst for her journey, the tale of the princess and the bard, needed to be immortalized. It was a story of love and sacrifice, of injustice and redemption. She knew that this final act would bring complete closure to the past and set the spirits fully at rest. The next day, a grand celebration was held in the castle's great hall. The walls were adorned with tapestries depicting the journey of the princess and the bard, their love and the trials they had faced. The people of Eldoria gathered to witness the telling of their story, their faces filled with anticipation. Seraphina stood before the crowd, the zither in her hands. She began to play, the music soft and haunting, as she recounted the tale of the princess and the bard. Her words were filled with emotion, her voice carrying the weight of their love and the pain of their separation. As she spoke, the spirits of the past appeared, their forms shimmering in the soft light of the hall. Among them were the princess and the bard, their faces alight with gratitude and peace. Seraphina's music wove their story into the hearts of all who listened, a testament to the enduring power of love and the importance of truth and justice. The crowd listened in rapt silence, their hearts touched by the tale and the beauty of the music. As the last note of the zither faded into the air, the spirits began to ascend, their forms dissolving into the light. The princess and the bard lingered for a moment, their hands entwined, their faces filled with a joy that transcended time. "Thank you, Seraphina," the princess said, her voice a soft whisper in the wind. "You have given us the peace we sought. May your reign be blessed with love and wisdom." With those final words, the spirits faded away, leaving behind a sense of tranquility and fulfillment. The people of Eldoria erupted into applause, their faces alight with hope and joy. The tale of the princess and the bard had been told, their love celebrated, and their spirits finally at rest. As the dawn broke over Eldoria, casting a golden light over the land, Seraphina stood on the balcony, the zither in her hands. The journey had been long and filled with challenges, but it had also been a journey of discovery, of love, and of renewal. With the spirits at peace and the kingdom united, She looked forward to leading Eldoria into a future filled with promise and harmony. The echoes of the past had guided her, and the wisdom of her ancestors would continue to light her way. With the blessings of the spirits and the love of her people, Seraphina knew that Eldoria was destined for a future of peace, prosperity, and everlasting harmony.